The M2 Mac Mini was released 48 hours ago. In that time, I've put this through a pretty standard couple of days for me, and team, let me tell you, I have some opinions. So what have I liked, disliked, and would I recommend that you go out and get one? Let's find out. Quick note, I've been spending my time balancing between two versions of the Mac Mini. Apple is letting me borrow a $799 model with the basic processor and memory configuration. It does have one addition, being it's got an upgraded 512GB hard drive, and I personally purchased a higher end model with the M2 Pro processor. So for this video, and thankfully, I've got a wide swath of experiences to report back to you. First thing I've liked, it's a Mac Mini. I don't like it, but I love Mac Minis. That might not be the most unbiased thing to say, but spoilers, I don't know if you knew this. This is an opinion piece. It was never going to be unbiased because people aren't unbiased. And I'm sorry. I'm really sorry if that's news to you. So the first actual thing I've liked, I really like the power on display here. In use, it doesn't exactly feel like it's faster because honestly, 10 to 20% power increases don't really blow the doors off of innovation. It's not a revolution, it's an evolution of a previous year. But for the same price as 2 years ago, you get an objective increase in total power. Yes, I have seen notes about the M2s running hotter than their M1 equivalent processors and systems, but that's more of a laptop problem. That's not a desktop problem. Laptops have to worry about thermal constraints far more than even tiny desktop computers like this have to. The way the Mac Mini is built, most of this space is empty. Heck, if you haven't seen the video, Snazzy Labs built a version of the M1 Mac Mini that is super tiny. The reason that I bring that up here is because all of this empty space allows for fantastic thermal performance and heat management because tons of cool air is always moving around the CPU. Over the past more than a day of use, which has included gaming and video editing, I've not yet heard the fans turn on. The only way that I know the fans are working here is I have to conduct the old reliable putting my hand behind the computer to feel the air moving test. That is a technical test that you'll only find here. So power is definitely a good thing that's gotten better over time. But let's move over to my first dislike. And what's going to be crazy here is this is going to be a double header because it's going to be a dislike that then turns into a like. And I'm talking about the body design. I really dislike that we've got mostly the same construction as always. And it's not, I don't know, maybe that's unfair because it's not the physical design that irritates me because I continue to like how small, compact, and stackable the Mac Minis are. I mean, this is a computer that can fit anywhere in your office. A friend of mine named Patrick tapes his underneath his desk and he never sees it. But I've got a Mac Studio in my house now and I know how great it can be to have easily accessible ports on the front. And as somebody that plugs stuff into my computer regularly, it sucks going around to the back of the machine to make that work. I know, we just talked about how much empty space this is. I know there is space in here for extra I/O. And I know that Apple knows it's important because they did that with the Mac Studio. I really hope that in the future we'll get Mac Minis released that'll add some front ports because much like single-sided laptop ports, it really limits the functionality and increases the frustration, and neither of which, I don't know if you knew this, neither of those are a good thing in product design. But why I do like the body has everything to do with the ports on the back. It's far more functional now than previously. The Thunderbolt 4 ports in the back here are, it's exactly what I wanted. You get the multiple external displays, if that's your thing, and you don't need to have the hybrid approach of both HDMI and USB-C for outputting video. There's not else much to say here other than I really continue to like that you've got every port on hand that you could possibly need. And that's one of the best things about all Mac Minis. You do not need to go out and buy something else to get a functional experience right out of the box. You open it up, you plug it in, and boom, it's ready to go. Something else I've liked has been the price, or more specifically, I like that there was no increase in price year over year. The M1 Mac Mini was $599 at its release at that base model, and the M2 Mac Mini is also $599 at the base. That might not sound like a lot, but with global inflation and component constraints going around, it's gotta be hard for a business to absorb a lot of those costs. And we've seen higher price tags in almost every other product family that Apple sells, from iPhones to iPads. Things cost more. So not costing more here definitely makes me happy. I do wish that they didn't charge so much for storage upgrades. So this has been a pretty simple overview from my past 48 hours of use. Would I recommend an M2 Mac Mini? If you have an M1 Mac Mini, then no, I would not recommend the M2. There isn't enough to warrant an upgrade here unless you have to have those Thunderbolt 4 ports. Everything else is pretty much the same from a practical standpoint. If you have an Intel Mac Mini or are looking to get into the Apple ecosystem, absolutely I would recommend this. It's fast, practical, insanely easy to set up, dead silent. This is an amazing little computer that almost recommends itself. We will continue digging into this for some more in-depth discussions in the coming weeks, but what would you like to see out of this computer? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video, click here to find out about the latest M2 MacBook Pro 16. Click. Thanks for watching.